envy and taking out those parents who choose, through their own hard work, to send their children to private school. David Lammy, well, the Shadow Foreign Secretary, who on TV compared Brexiteers to Nazi, who voted against renewing our nuclear deterrent, and from if reports are to believe, may not even have a job if he ends up, God forbid, as in government. Anja Rayner, Labour's deputy leader. Not only is she ready to concrete over our green and pleasant land, but when she isn't too busy voting also to scrap Trident, she's busy calling Conservative scum. Ed Miliband, the Shadow Energy and Net Zero Secretary, who is currently being held hostage inside Labour HQ tied to his headstone, who loves taking a knee to the eco-extremists like Greta Thunberg and Just Stop Oil in the pursuit of an ideologically dangerous net zero agenda. Obviously, wanting to also create something like GB Energy that doesn't even produce any energy. Wants to cost more families hard-earned money in their pocket by going for this eco-zealism, and wants to see the death of key industries such as ceramics in my home of Stoke-on-Trent. Yvette Cooper, the Shadow Home Secretary, who we know likes to pose with signs saying refugees are welcome, only encouraging the smugglers in Calais, who are too busy reminding migrants right now that if they get to enter this country illegally under Sir Keir Starmer's Labour, there's going to be a migrant amnesty. There's going to be a deal with the EU that opens up our borders to 100,000 additional illegal migrants each and every year, and a scrapping of the only deterrent on the table, which is Rwanda. And last but not least, the leader of the Labour Party himself, Sir Keir Starmer. Sir Keir, who stabbed his friend Jeremy Corbyn in the back when he became leader of the Labour Party. Sir Keir, who lied to his own members when he became leader, ditching the 10 pledges that he made to them. Sir Keir, who used to write that he thought border controls were racist. Sir Keir, who's taken that many different positions on different policies that he puts the Kama Sutra to shame. Sir Keir, who won't tell you the truth about the £35 billion black hole in their costings, meaning that working families are going to get hit with a £2,000 tax bombshell. It's just the same old Labour. But there is a clear alternative. A vote for Rishi Sunak and your excellent local hard-working Conservative candidates up and down our great nation. A vote to keep lowering your taxes with further cuts to national insurance. A vote to protect pensioners from Labour's retirement tax with our new Triple Lock Plus. A vote to stop the boats and cut legal migration. A vote to have a pragmatic and sensible approach to net zero. A vote to stop Labour's obsession with expanding ULEZ to more towns and cities across the country. A vote for more funding to fix potholes, improve bus services and upgrade local rail, due to the brave decision this Prime Minister made by scrapping the northern leg of HS2. A vote to add another 8,000 new police officers on our beat, already adding to the 20,000 that we recruited in the last 4.5 years, to make sure that every single neighbourhood has a Bobby on the beat. A vote to continue to deliver a strong education for our young people, something I care passionately about as someone who was a former teacher and former trade union representative, which you can imagine sends the left balmy, but equipping them with the knowledge and skills for the high-skilled and high-wage jobs of our future. A vote to continue getting new free trade deals and make ourselves competitive against the EU, not tied indefinitely to their rules and regulations without having a single say over what they are, just as the Labour Party is keen to do. We must go out and remind people that a vote for any other party in this election will lead to a disastrous and destructive Labour government. I've seen that firsthand where I'm proud to represent. Stoke-on-Trent is riddled with debt from Labour's PFI legacy. 88 schools have seen a 19% increase. Our hospital spends £20 million a year servicing the PFI debt. A hospital that was built with 200 fewer beds than the old one under the Labour Party. A hospital that urgently needs that money on the front line, but Labour's dodgy deals have left them crippled. A Labour Party in Stoke-on-Trent that forgot about our area, and since having a Conservative MP for the first time in its history, has had 4 times more spoken contributions in 4.5 years compared to my disastrous Labour predecessor, who was airlifted into the House of Lords in some backroom deal by Sir Keir. The reality is, in Stoke-on-Trent, since the Conservatives came in places like Hinckley and Bosworth, where you've had fantastic local representation, you're seeing funding from Levelling Up, funding via town deals, funding for our schools, funding for our NHS, funding to improve our roads, funding to improve bus services, funding to improve local rail connections, making sure that we have a country that is on the up after, let's not forget, a global pandemic not seen since the end of World War I. War in Europe that's more attuned to us and more prominent to us in our minds that we haven't seen since the end of the Second World War for many people. The truth and reality is this is a much more dangerous world. To have a deputy leader and a foreign secretary who aren't prepared or willing to use a nuclear deterrent. To have a leader of the Labour Party who's literally boasting that he plans to clock off at 6 p.m. on a daily basis today. So let's hope Putin doesn't choose 6:01 when he wishes to go any further with his illegal and immoral invasion of Ukraine. We've got a Labour Party that doesn't actually believe in what they say. They're saying what they think you want to hear, what the public want to hear, simply to seize power. We know Wes Streeting told Laura Kuenssberg that he's holding more back. This is just the start, as he was saying with their first 6 steps. There is more that we're yet to hear and know about. The truth and reality is this Labour Party is more dangerous than any I've experienced in my lifetime because they're simply not being straight with the public about what it is that they want to do with our country. They think that they can play it safe by hiding Sir Keir away from any interviews, making sure that he doesn't have to be held to account in a stage, and wants a blank cheque with a supermajority to be able to push through his French trade union-style laws, which, as we can see, probably won't be as popular in the coming weeks ahead with what's gone on in France in recent elections. But we've also don't want to see us, as I say, tied to the European Union, disrespecting the largest ever democratic mandate of people who voted to leave the European Union by tying us into rules and regulations without having a single say over how they impact our lives or impact our businesses in our community. That is absurd. That danger cannot and should not be allowed to continue. And that is why I'm imploring every single one of you in the final days of this campaign to knock on those doors, deliver those leaflets, make those comments on social media, share those Facebook posts or TikToks, or which Luke is an expert on, by the way, something that I'm shamefully not on. But we've got to make sure we get that message out there. I do not buy what the opinion polls are saying. They are not reflecting the doors that I am knocking in my own area. And I'm hearing that from many of my colleagues up and down the country. But I will send one clear message too to people who are considering voting for reform. The Prime Minister has said he understands your frustration. People like me have been very clear where we stand on both illegal and legal migration. I literally put a bill on the floor of the House of Commons to say we should ignore the ECHR when it comes to rulings regarding Rwanda. Sir Keir Starmer managed to drag himself out to vote against a 10-minute rule bill for a backbencher. That shows you his passion for making sure that we're tied to a foreign court dictating how we should go about our daily lives. We also have a situation where we have a Labour Party that's simply not being straight about when it comes to the trans agenda issue. The fact that a woman is a biological adult human female. They cannot find it within them to say it. Their own MPs like Rosie Duffield have had to go into hiding from their own party because of the dangers they've been under. That is not a country I want my daughter to grow up in. That's not a country I want my fiancé to be a part of. That is not a country that I will stand for, and I know you won't either. So now, there's only one person for me that's quite clear that I believe will be able to stand up to Labour, can defeat Labour, that is going to build a country that's safe and prosperous for my children to grow up in. That man is our Prime Minister. That man is our party leader. That man is the next Prime Minister of the United Kingdom as of the 4th of July. And I'm honoured and privileged to represent him. His name is Rishi Sunak. A big round of applause, please.
Right. Well, how do you follow that, right? No, it's great to be here with Luke and Jonathan. Luke, where are you? Yeah, there you are. You know what? These guys work their socks off for you in Parliament. Luke has got the supermarkets to introduce a Buy British button. He's busy protecting all your green spaces from Labour and the Liberal Democrats concreting over them and getting investment into the local area, both at the zoo and at the hospital. And Jonathan, well, as you've heard, Jonathan is a force of nature. Jonathan, there is actually no one who fights harder for conservative values in Parliament and across the board than Jonathan. He is a warrior for Stoke. He's got more investment than anyone has in the history of that great city's existence. He's made sure we've got 500 new Home Office jobs that have come there. He's reopening the Stoke to Leek line. We need Luke and Jonathan back in Parliament. Give it up for the two of them. Okay, look, friends, we have got urgent work to do. We have 3 days to save Britain from the danger of a Labour government. A Labour government that would hike up everyone's taxes by £2,000, would shunt our politics to the left, and they would change the rules to entrench themselves in power for a decade. We cannot let Britain sleepwalk into this. It is our job, it is our duty to wake people up to that danger. So I say to all of you, I say to every Conservative, don't surrender to Labour, fight for every vote, fight for our values, and fight for our vision of Britain. Now look, I am not blind to people's hesitation in supporting us again. I know it's been a difficult few years. I understand frustrations with me, with the party. It's been a difficult few years. Of course, we haven't got everything perfectly right or has made as much progress in every area as we would have liked. But on Thursday, it is not a by-election. It is not a referendum on our party or the past. It is a choice about the future of our country and what that future means for you and your family. If there is an unchecked, unaccountable Labour Party in power with a supermajority, think what that would mean for everyone. A Labour Party with a blank cheque to do whatever they want. As you heard from Jonathan, as you saw in the TV debates, there will be no control of our borders. We will become the soft touch of Europe when it comes to illegal migration. On net zero, where we've made sensible reforms to prioritise our energy security and protect your bills, they will be reversed like that, damaging our country's security. When it comes to our national security, whereas we're investing more in our country's defence at a time that is more dangerous than we've seen since the end of the Cold War, Keir Starmer would retreat, cutting those plans. And worse, his Foreign Secretary and Deputy Leader don't even believe in our nuclear deterrent. And when it comes to protecting the spaces and the services of our girls, of our women, the Labour Party won't do that because it's only us Conservatives that know. When it comes to these matters, sex means biological sex, my friends. And just think what that unchecked Labour majority would mean for everyone's finances. Because once you've given Labour a blank cheque, you won't be able to get it back. And that means that your taxes are going up. Your car, your pension, your savings, your work, you name it, they will tax it. Thousands and thousands of pounds. It's what they always do. It's in their DNA. So next Thursday, don't give them that blank cheque. Vote instead for lower taxes. Vote instead for the Conservatives. If re-elected, we will cut taxes for you at every stage of your life. We believe in a country where your hard work is rewarded, which is why we'll keep cutting national insurance. We believe in a country and an economy that supports the entrepreneurs, the risk takers, so we will abolish national insurance for the self-employed. We believe in a country where every young couple can get on the housing ladder and own their own home, fulfill that aspiration, so we will abolish stamp duty for first-time buyers. We believe in supporting and cherishing families because they're the most important thing in all of our lives. So we will expand the generosity of child benefit. And we believe in a country where if you work hard all your life, you should have dignity and security in retirement, which is why we will introduce the Triple Lock Plus, unlike Labour, who will introduce a retirement tax for the first time in our country's history. That's not the type of country we believe in. So be in no doubt. A vote for the Conservatives. is a vote for lower taxes, my friends. You know, and in conclusion, I'll just say this. I love this country for what it has done for my family. My grandparents came here with very little, and I stand here before you 2 generations later with the enormous privilege of having been not just your Chancellor at a difficult time, but also your Prime Minister. I don't think my story would have been possible in almost any other country in the world. And that's why I will always work my socks off to deliver for you and everyone else in our great country. And I know in my heart that it is only us Conservatives that will take the bold action necessary to deliver financial security for everyone. It is only us Conservatives that share people's values of freedom, of aspiration, of opportunity, of security. And it is only us Conservatives that will stand up to a Labour Party. So, as I said before, do not surrender to Labour. Let's get out there. Let's fight for every vote. Let's fight for our values. And let's fight for our vision of Britain. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming here.